Before we get started, anyone interested in ordering Mr. Lindell's 4-CD set, go to metaphysicalarttheater.com. For those in the U.S., you can order physical copies or the digital downloads. For those outside the U.S., you can order the digital downloads by going to metaphysicalarttheater.com.
How you doing, sir?
Yes, fine. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing great today. So, hey, I got a lovely topic that I think that you're going to enjoy. Test it for yourself. You know, we often say test it. So let's talk about testing. You know, a lot of times people talk about these principles and so forth, but we know that the only way that you're going to discover these things work for you is testing it for yourself. Is that correct?
You know, the first time I met Neville Goddard, you know, I didn't really understand what he was saying, but I knew that I had heard something that was really worthy of my attention. And so I did pay attention and I agreed with him. But you know something? I never got around to doing it, to actually testing it. And you know, I know you know, he said that very often, test it. If you don't test it, you don't own it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's what you want. You want to own the idea of desired change. And that's what we're offering you. But you have to think about it. You see, that it's up to you to think about it. We're not going to think about it for you. We're giving you the information that was given to us. You know, Jesus didn't come to change your mind. He came to give you information so you could choose to change your mind, right?
Absolutely. And I like that you said that because I was actually meditating on that today about Jesus. And you said Jesus didn't come to change your mind, and he didn't. Matter of fact, what you find when Jesus was doing the healing, he said, do you believe that I'm able to do this? So he said, according to your faith, be it done unto you. So it wasn't Jesus that was doing the healing. It was the person that was receiving the healing by way of belief.
Yeah, it's already offered. I mean, it's offered to you. Take up the offer. And all you have to do is claim what you're agreeing with, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Someone says, yeah, I can't take you guys serious. Well, you better. Yeah. You really better take it serious.
Yeah.
It's your message. Yeah, DeCarlo didn't make this up. I didn't make this up. It's right there in scripture, isn't it?
It is.
And you can look it up and check anything we say. So I mean, there it is. You know, I followed Neville around for 50 years. I mean, not with him all the time, but I had his tapes and his books, and I referred to them often because, you know, you forget things. I mean, you know it, but you're not conscious of it at the moment, and so you don't know it. Yeah. You're to do these things feelingly. You understand? That way you remember it better if you do it feelingly. If you just listen to something, it'll be gone in a minute. I mean, you can be distracted and that quick and out of here and gone down the street over around the alley. And that's where I was going most of the time. But you see, I heard it from him. And I even agreed with it, as I said, but the idea was do it. Do a thing and you shall have the power, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you will often say, there's only the power, one power that we're all operating from.
That's right. That's right. And you're given to choose that day. Choose this day, you're told. And it's always this day. It's not a tomorrow. It's not a yesterday. No, it's always today. And so you're actually given every day. Choose anew. I mean, we're figuring if you're given to choose, you'll choose something you want, right?
Absolutely. You said something I want to touch on it because I think that it can easily be bypassed. You said every day we're given to choose anew. And in saying that, listeners, please don't miss what's being said. No matter what you've gone through up until this moment, you can choose different.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, you're probably doing so. and it's called double-mindedness.
Yeah.
And what we need to do, we need to actually move into the dream that we want to establish in our life and play the part. Now, I mean, we're all playing parts. I mean, it's not you, it's what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
See, and that's it. But you're given to choose anew every day. So really think about this. All of these talks that we give together like this, it's to get you to think for yourself, first person, because that's who's going to be answered. I mean, you're told choose this day, and you're doing so. This is an ongoing drama. There's no place to stop. I mean, there really isn't. I mean, you're on all the time, but on what? What are you focused on? Because come on, what has your attention has your life.
So what has your attention right now?
Ringer muted, huh? I'm sorry.
I said, what has your attention right now?
Oh, no. See, actually, it's actually that simple. You can lose the whole thing that simple, can't you?
You can. You said something I want to add back to it, kind of track back around to it. You said we're all playing parts. And, I don't think that the listeners understand the power of what's being said and communicated at this moment. And because they're so inundated with so many people, so many teachers, and so forth, this is some of the most powerful teaching on YouTube. And yet, most people don't even realize that it's out there. They're not getting it. But you said, listen, we're all playing parts. And you're spiritual beings having a human experience. The question is, what part have you chose to play right now, this moment?
Yeah. Well, why not? I was God who told you choose this day, and he didn't put any parameters on that, did he?
No.
No, it just says choose this day, and that's you, first person, doing so, aware or unaware. And what we're here doing is trying to make you aware that you're doing so, aware or unaware. That's what this is all about, isn't it? Just being more aware.
This is exactly what it's about. It's about just that. If you can become more aware, then change.
I mean, choosing it, right?
Absolutely.
Choosing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Choosing what you're aware of. See, that's the difference, because how many thoughts a day?
At least 70,000.
Yeah. Well, we have it with us always. What? Everything. Who's with you? Jesus said, I and my Father are one, even as you and I are one. That means, where do you need to go, right?
Yeah, nowhere.
Just in the silence, because they're never going to interrupt you. That's something you want to understand. You say you're praying to God, but actually, who you're really praying to is subconscious mind, because subconscious mind was given the blueprint. I mean, what you're doing to make your world as you think you are, and you're told, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So if he is, he does, he has, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's right in your face, isn't it? Man's life is his attitudes. Not where we got them, not that. But why do you have them and keep them if they're not leading you where you want to go and producing the kind of world you want to live in? I mean, because that's what you're doing, aren't you? Aren't we told that everything on the without is secondhand?
Yes.
So where did they come from? Out of the mind of man. He gave us choose a state. I'm choosing this, and you're choosing that, and they're choosing that, and there it is. But you can change it if you desire to do so, can't you?
You can, and that's the good news, that you can change it.
Oh yeah, man. I just think it couldn't change it. Oh yeah. Oh, you oh, really? And that could really upset your day. Yeah. Attitude, attitude, attitude. You know, we're to make progress in our thinking. And the only way you're going to do that is to pay attention to what you're talking to yourself about. Isn't that so?
It is so. It is so.
See, that's where it starts. Everything you're doing, being, and having starts with you thinking about it. And you can deny it. I mean, that's what most of the world does. They know, oh, that's not mine. Well, yeah. If it looks like it, it's yours.
You said
Yeah.
something. Yeah. You were talking about paying attention, and it's so true. You either pay attention or you suffer loss.
Well, you know, if you're not paying attention to what you're paying attention to, you may wind up experiencing something, and then you have that why me, why this, why now? Well, what were you thinking about? See, that's what's so hard for people to grasp. Their every word, isn't that what it says? Every word must be accounted for, every word. Well, there you are, and you're saying something, and all you have to do is write down what you're saying and then look at it and say, well, is this leading me where I want to go? And if it isn't, drop it. Isn't it? And certainly they can think of something better, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you have to do the thinking. You can't let somebody else do the thinking for you, because then all you'll do then is you'll complain about what they're putting you into, and yet you started it. Why? You're offered every day the very thing you want, and you're looking over here. Why? Looking over there. Why? It's right here in front of you. This is right in front of you, isn't it?
It is.
And are we not giving them information? That's all Jesus came to do, is give them information. And he didn't come to do. He even told them, work out your own salvation.
Yeah.
And how you do that? Well, watch what you're thinking feelingly about. I mean, that's your world of everyday experiencing. You're always thinking ahead of your evidence, and the evidence you're experiencing is what you were thinking ahead of.
You may have lost somebody there, but it's actually so true. You know, we're always thinking ahead of the evidence, you know, and we're told that faith is the substance of things hoped for. So even faith itself is the substance of the thing. So whatever it is that you're giving your attention to, it's going not to, as you often say, it's not going to advance back to your past, but it's going to advance into your future.
Yes. See, here's the thing. Once you set the mood,
yeah,
it draws to it things that make that mood worthy of your attention. But is it something you want for your attention? See, that's what you have to decide. And you were given to do so because you're given to choose this day. And it's always this day. And you are choosing this day, aware or unaware. All we're telling you is the more aware you are, the happier you'll be. And that's so.
It is so. It is
I
so.
mean, let's keep it simple, man. Come on. If you
yeah.
We forget, you know, hey, I was listening to some tapes I did at the Metaphysical Art Theater just now, and I'm going, wow, I said that. Wow, I said that. Yeah, that's it. There it is. See? Because we forget.
Yeah.
The moment is taking full attention from you, generally most of the time. But it doesn't need your full attention to operate. It only needs what's necessary. And if you give more attention to it than's necessary, see, there's rules of learning and working that you must obey and it's not obeying anybody but yourself. What you're doing is that you're actually choosing moods to be in, aren't you?
You are?
I mean, isn't that what you're doing? You're choosing moods to be in.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's an ongoing drama, so you're always in some mood. But the thing of it is, you have to choose it. You have to show up. You have to claim it. That's it. That's the whole thing, is claiming it. That's what we have to do. We have to actually show up and claim it. And that showing up is just sitting in the silence. I mean, certainly you can do well. That isn't really that easy. But the thing of it is, it's like most anything else, a habit or something. If you can change it for 30 days, you're done with it.
Yeah.
And well, in cases of things that have happened in your life that are run off little scenarios about all the time, that's not really wise either. If you didn't enjoy it the first time, what makes you think you're going to enjoy running it off again? Doesn't that just put you in that same mood again?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do that to yourself?
Yeah.
And we all do it.
We do.
We all run off little scenarios that would be better shelved, because if it's not leading you where you want to go, if it isn't profitable, why do it? I mean, if you have to do something here, the only thing you really have to do is let go. Let go of the nonsense that you allowed and just let it go. Don't play it over and over and over in your mind, because then you're just drawing more of that back to you again. And if you didn't enjoy it the first time, as I said, why run it over and over in your mind all the time to put you in that mood?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all, a mood, isn't it?
It is. It is. Neville called it a state, but it's all the same thing: a mood, a state, an attitude, the things that we've called off today. And like I said, you've given them in the last few moments some very powerful tools. And what I love about what we're talking about today is that no matter what your belief system is, you can plug in what we're saying and apply it to your belief system, and it's going to transform it.
Well, let me put it this way. You're going to be transforming to what you're talking and suggesting to yourself about. Better check it out beforehand.
Yeah.
Because since you're thinking ahead of the evidence you'll be experiencing, you can change it because you're thinking ahead of the evidence. So you're always in charge if you'll just take charge, right?
Absolutely. I was talking to a young man the other day, and he was saying that he was contemplating marriage. And he said, so should I see a loving relationship and, my wife and I having discussions and things like that ahead of time? I said, absolutely. I said, because what you're doing is planting the seeds of your future.
Yeah, you're either going to be doing it,
yeah,
or you're not.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
If you want simple, that sounds pretty simple to me, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
But I didn't get it even that simple first. You see, you have to go through those periods when you're just unsure of everything and you're wondering, am I crazy, or what is this, a delusion? No, it isn't a delusion. It's a virtual reality. And as a virtual reality, it isn't real. It isn't reality. The only reality here is you.
Yeah.
But you don't know that. See? Yeah, that's right. That's the whole thing right there. Because that's where you live, really. This out here, this is decorating your world. Yeah, isn't that what you're told to do?
Yeah.
Well, okay, here it's all decorated. But that doesn't change me unless me changes me. It's discipline. It's discipline. But don't use the word too negatively, because it'd be doubtful if she'll even participate. Yeah. And that's all you have to do. You just have to participate. What that is, that means showing up. God said, you turn to me, I'll turn to you. Isn't that a yes?
Yes, yes.
Isn't that all he's ever said? Is yes?
Always, always yes.
Then what are you afraid of?
Yeah.
I mean, go talk to him. He tells you that blessed is the man that does not condemn himself for that which he has allowed. So right there, you're all free and clear again. Where are you going from there? Because that's what you're doing every day. What, pick up the best of yesterday and multiply with it. But change it. You're always changing it. See, that's what we're doing. We're double-mindedness. And like I was told, double-mindedness don't get you anything.
Yeah.
You have to spearhead your own world of experiencing. And people are saying, what about your prayers being answered? Your prayers are all answered. So what are you praying about? That should tell you right there that you're praying amiss. If you're not experiencing it, then what are you experiencing? Because you thought it up. See, that's what man doesn't remember. Last month, I could have been talking about something that I totally forgot about. But it doesn't forget. Consciousness never forgets. So you're gonna live by every word. So take it from there.
Absolutely. You said something. You said, listen, what are you giving your attention to? Because, of course, consciousness doesn't forget. Now, like you said, we often forget. We forget what we thought yesterday. I can forget what I thought a moment ago, but it always shows up. And what we have to do is look at the fruits. The fruits are giving us evidence, that evidence that we talked about of past thinking.
Look, the help you need is right with you.
Yeah.
It says it, and as a matter of fact, it's nearer than hands and feet.
Yeah.
Why don't you partake of this? See? Well, everybody does a little bit. And I was at it a little bit for a long, long time because I didn't know that it was my responsibility to expand it. Open and quicken it, Neville would say all the time, didn't he?
Yeah.
Open and quicken it. That means, it means look it over. See, what are you being told here? That's what we want you to do with these talks. Listen to it. What did he say? He said, you're free, but you have to act like it. You see, you have to act like you're in the mind of imagination, in the theater of mind. What are you doing there? Because that's your life unfolding, isn't it?
It is. It is. And you said something. You said, but you have to act like it. And that's the thing. Many of us talk about it, we think about it, but we never get to the point of acting about it.
That's it. Shakespeare said it, all the world's a stage and all the men and women are merely actors. There you are. I mean, all you have to do is just look at the world around you. Everybody's playing a part and they believe it's real, and it is virtual real. But everything here changes. Everything goes away. Everything, even the bodies we're wearing, everything goes away. But you don't, because you're spirit. The rest of it is all make-believe. I mean, it's here out of our mind of virtual reality, because it isn't reality, because reality is changeless. And as I said, everything here goes away. Like I told you about the pyramids, they were meant to last forever. And they're 5,000 years old, but they're under maintenance. As a matter of fact, it's been 30 years. They started on a new maintenance on one of the big. It's all in the mind, your mind. It's all there for you, right here, right now. I am with you always. I will never leave you. Omnipresence. What more do you? See, I was agreeing with all of this, but I still wasn't participating in it. You see, you have to feel after what's being said, or it just comes in. Oh, it sounds nice when you hear it. I mean, while you're sitting here and we're all jawing about it, you're like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I did that for quite a while, even with Neville. Although he seemed to be able to spear me at least once every night. Like you said, so sometimes I don't get the idea that you're really on your own side. Well, that's true. I mean, you have to admit it, don't you?
You do.
You have to admit you're not on your look. Nobody's aware all the time, and now, God knows this. You're not aware all the time, and if you're not aware, then you could be being silly,
Yeah.
and think it's the right thing to do, and then something happens, and then suddenly, no, it wasn't really too funny at that.
Yeah.
See, but that's what you have to come to first person, right?
Absolutely. And it goes back to what you said earlier, that word. And I want to say the word, and hopefully you don't cringe, but discipline. Discipline, no matter what you call that word, practice, continuation, perseverance. When you begin doing that in any endeavor, in your thought patterns, you start thinking on a particular chain of thoughts, and you stay steady on that. You begin living according to that chain of thoughts. You're going to produce the lifestyle. That's the difference between the wealthy person and the person that may not be wealthy financially, is the wealthy person stuck with what it was that he committed himself to.
Well, you're running the show,
Yeah.
or ego's running the show for you.
Yeah.
And believe me, he's waiting in the wings just to see what you're doing. And boy, I'll tell you, he'll just take over.
Yeah.
I mean, look, when you see these individuals in scripture, you're seeing what they're thinking, and then you see what they're doing. And what they're doing and what they were thinking is now evidence of the doing.
Yeah.
And that's what you're told. You know how simple it is. It says, do a thing. See, in other words, he that's wide open, isn't it?
Yeah.
A thing, do a thing. They're wide open. And if you're suffering, why? Well, who are you suffering for? No, God tells you, I suffer with you, but you behold me not. So if you want God to stop suffering what you're doing, well, then stop doing it.
You said about the doing of a thing, and most of us really miss what's being said when you say do a thing and you shall have the power. Doing a thing, there's no qualifiers, there's no morality. Do whatever thing, good, bad, or indifferent. This is not just the flowery, happy things. You do anything, and you're given the power to operate in that depending upon your doing. So, like we say, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, you're using the one power to do that thing.
That's it. It's attitude awareness,
Yeah.
imaginational control, because imagining creates the reality here of this virtual reality, and it's telling you that whatever you're thinking on will be added to.
Yeah.
But what you say? Well, what you're thinking from. In other words, you're on all the time. People say, well, but I'm praying and praying and praying, and I'm not getting any answer. No, you're just not hearing the answer. You're getting it. You're always answered. He told you, ask that you receive not because you ask amiss. And if you're not enjoying life, well, that's what you're doing, acting amiss. So it's always up to the individual. You see, what he gave you he gave you himself. Son, all I have is yours. And he tells you they themselves are makers of themselves. So you got nobody to blame. You got nobody else there to judge, just yourself. And as long as you're paying attention to yourself, well, you're okay. We're assuming that you're choosing better than the best, but that's, like I said, that's still up to you. Is someone trying to get in here?
Well, yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. When you sit there and you meditate, when you think about what's being said, when we look at our lives, because many of us were dealing with lives of chaos. And to believe that I'm responsible for my own chaos, everything that you're seeing on TV, everything that you read in the newspaper, everything you see on the internet, all says it's not your fault. And what we're saying is contrary to that.
The two things that God did not give man was fear and sickness. He did not give man fear or sickness, but yet we're experiencing it. So then we're responsible for making it up.
Yeah.
I mean, if he didn't give it to you, he said, if I didn't do it, it wasn't done.
Yeah.
So whatever you're doing, that's him doing it with you, because he gave you. I'm giving you all that I have. So use it wisely. That's all you're told to do. Yeah. Choose this day. Well, if you're choosing it, hopefully you're thinking about it. And profitably so, too. I mean, why not? He offers you everything. Why? Why would you wait? What are you waiting for? God damn, I did that. I don't know how long I did that. Waiting. And someone asked me, well, what are you waiting for? There you are. I didn't know. I said a lot of things, like everybody else does when I ask them, what is your dream? Oh, how about $1 million? Well, if you want to set and you want to make a mindset for that, you can do it, because it says whatsoever, doesn't it?
It does. That's powerful. That's powerful.